Hello, folks. Welcome back. We are here, ready to get underway with Game 2 between the side of Finals Tribe and Vega Squadron. We're already underway with the draft, and Alan, this hero, everyone seems to love him. It's good old Santa Claus, and ironically, in time for Christmas.
And you can see in the last game why, right? I mean, it's a hero even in a loss. The rework to Sandstorm means that this hero can split push with just a little bit less risk than it did before. And that's just something, again, any amount of lane control that you can get from your 3 through 5 positions as the game goes on, particularly low risk lane control being out on the map is so valuable in terms of letting these cores be free to do whatever they want. If it always has to be the cores out there pushing lanes, subjecting themselves to the risk of ganks, that's where you get in serious trouble.
Yeah, it used to be that people go to heroes like, for example, Jakiro. Jakiro was always the most popular one. He kind of was the original example of this. Like, it not just cores, but like rather supports, right? Like this whole logic of a hero that just goes out, pushes a lane, dies, shrugs his shoulders, and goes, "My part is done."
Jakiro is for a couple of reasons an even more extreme example of that, which we'll get into those eventually if we ever see a Jakiro pick again in competitive play. Sorry, Paul. But yeah, I think that as a general point, that's certainly valid. I still Rubik has not looked as devastating in a lot of these games, but I think by the time we get around to the major again and you see these Yapzor caliber players on the hero, Rubik is getting mega nerfed after chunking. Trust me.
Most likely, yeah. And interestingly enough, the hero that he does do decent against, we talked about this before, Anti-Mage for the lockdown. They take it to make sure.
I think first phase Anti-Mage is not a thing when you are the second pick team. Like, I think you just snap pick terribly because he's a hero that can farm about as fast. I mean, AM, once he gets his Battlefield online, the flash farm's better, but Terrorblade hits towers from much earlier.
It's definitely, you're going to be on the, you're actually going to be pressured pretty quick. If the Final Tribes can try and invade and take control, it's not just you've lost 3 tier 1s, it's, well, that's a lot more space I can't farm because I don't have a safety net.
Now, because it's a new patch though, and new patches are fun, it's going to be interesting to see the bans. The Brewmaster is reasonable, right? But which of these traditional Terrorblade counters do you value in this patch? We haven't seen a lot of Zeus. We haven't seen a lot of Tinker. We have seen some Lina. But how are you as Vega going to go about getting the magical burst that you need to threaten this hero?
That's the thing. We do see
they're taking their time thinking about this ban for that very reason.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I was going to say, we do see a focus quite a lot on picking up an Elder Titan, so you can just run at him. That's the alternative.
ET's sick. That's the ban. That's the ban. Absolutely. That's right. That's got to be the correct ban. They're going to ban the Zeus anyway, which is one that I'm not sure quite how to value that hero. I haven't seen enough in 7.2.0, but I like the Elder Titan, especially with, remember, you've already got the reliable setup from the Rubik.
It's also the vision game, right? Like, you get the Zeus, and suddenly you can't actually get these deep wards and look to just choke off this anti-mage and go ganking him all the time.
I think the other thing is we talk a lot about the rework to the E2R, which I just love. I think it means you can play the hero as a 5 in some situations too, because you're going to be getting that armor bonus. You're going to be tanky, just getting the Astral Spirit off.
Yeah, and Rubik at the same time, you could run him as a 5, but most teams prefer it in the 4 role. It's a type of hero that does a lot with a little bit of gold.
F that, dude. I've got MNT on my team.
Gotta give it time.
I mean, under certain that is an absolutely valid point. But if he's on my Rubik, I want that Rubik having a blink dagger.
There is a ban on the Meepo. Vega, they know they're 1 game down and they don't want to risk getting cheesed here.
Yeah.
We did say actually that TFT can apply pressure much quicker, and if they had got something like the Meepo, this anti-mage would get a chance to get a Battle Fury.
Chessie's Meepo is good. Like Chessie, he's a very good micro player. People forget that he transitioned over from Han, where he was actually a jungler. Like Frost was a carry when he played Han, but Chessie was an elite level jungler in that game, and he still occasionally gets the chance to flash those micro skills. How has this hero been flying under the radar?
More interestingly, why was TFT not picking up? Because I've seen them play. I think I've seen TFT play Grimstrike more than any other team so far.
Well, but we were just talking about, how are you going to get the magic damage to threaten the Terrorblade? Grimstroke not only gives you that potential for magic damage from very far back in the back line, so he's not going to have to worry about TB just metaing up and hitting him in the face, but he also brings some pretty interesting disable potential with the Phantom and the Inkswell.
Most definitely. We do see different focuses. Some teams like to max out the Inkswell. Others have been focusing primarily on the Phantom's Embrace, getting up to that free hit to kill threshold as quickly as possible.
I'm really not sure what you pick here.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, it's going to depend on the next pick. That will decide it, because they need someone that gets in the face. You can eventually put on the Inkswell on the Anti-Mage, but in the laning phase, this is where we just decide it. If you pick someone like, for example, if you take a Centaur on the side of Vega, then you probably go for the Inkswell. Yeah,
okay. Oh, the build? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? That's right. That's right. You pick a tanky offlaner. That's what am I doing? I'm overthinking it. I'm like, oh, mid, do you pick Lena, whatever. You still got another pick to deal with Terrorblade. I like the Centaur, although low armor.
Batrider, however. That's one way to run down this Terrorblade.
There we go. Much better. And it gives you that same kind of split push potential that you saw Kezu flashing on the Sand King. It gives you a way to deal with the BKB. If Terrorblade pops it early, that's one of the big weaknesses of the Rubik Grimstroke support duo, is that you have no BKB breaker.
But there will be a Nyx coming out for TFT.
Okay. I mean, natural Batrider counter, right? Batrider that's one of the classic reasons that this hero broke into the meta. Also gives you a lot of scouting information.
And will they look to combo this? Will they look for some more global presence? So maybe you start to see the Nyx Assassin hunt and the Anti-Mage, especially with that break now on Vendetta to get rid of the Mage resistance.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. We really haven't. I was curious to see the Nyx picks coming out in the qualifiers to take advantage of that very thing, and we really haven't seen the hero that much. I thought you'd see Nyx picked against some of these PAs.
Quite possibly,
and that's just not been a thing so far. But again, people overestimate the speed at which teams are going to adapt to a patch, particularly one of the side. This is easily the biggest patch we've seen since 7.0.
I think
I think in some ways 7.2 is a bigger patch.
Like, I think the crux though with Nyx, like I do like what you're saying as a counter PA, especially later on you get that triple dagger talent. You don't have a choice in this. You spike Carapace stunned, but it's also something to do with the lack of int cores right now.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, Agi's so ridiculously OP. That's a good point.
A lot of time taken by TFT on the final ban, trying to figure out what's going on here. The Dragonite ban is interesting, unless Vega are trying for something like a Queen of Pain.
They still know that like the sick TB counter is yet to be determined. So do you need to worry about banning like a Tinker here? I mean, that feels a little bit too greedy, but Tinker's at the same time. Tinker versus Terrorblade it's a great matchup, not just because of the nuke. Oh, MK. Okay, that's not what I thought. All right.
I'm still wondering if Vegas.
I like Kunkka. I like Kunkka against Batrider a lot. I think Kunkka and Nyx are very good response here.
So against Anti-Mage as well.
Yep. So what is this here? This is Lena, Tinker, Zeus is gone.
I honestly think that I feel like Vega's eyeing up the Queen of Pain. I don't like it, but with the DK ban and everything else here, I don't want him to do it. Please do not do this. Especially when Nyx Assassin in the game. That's just death. You need something tanky. Tiny's not there. That wouldn't have been too bad against the Kunkka. This is the biggest frustration. Huskar is available, though risky against a Terrorblade.
I think Huskar is interesting, right? That the disarm is what makes you wonder if he's playable now against TB.
Well, it also gives you that space in the mid game. Undying.
Okay, that is a core Rubik. All right. This is. I like the stones. This is a very gutsy draft coming out from Vega. I did not expect that you would see a core Rubik. You are super, super squishy against a lineup that has so much AoE team fight.
There is a lot of risk associated, especially when you consider that when you're in lane against Kunkka, the timing on 6 is important to watch. And, old Rubik would at least have the defensive capabilities out of the old ability. But now Arcane Supremacy, it ups your aggression, but you have no way to defend yourself against magic damage.
That's the thing. You wish, as the Rubik player in here, that you did have the option to toggle back to null field, because when you talk about eating the boat combo potentially stacked on Sand King and Illuminate, you're gonna hurt, and you are so vulnerable against this Nyx. This is, I mean, you are putting a lot on the shoulders of Mage, a player that has struggled in a few of these games. He's looked very good at other times. I mean, and he's got, like, he has the potential to be the best player on the map in this game. There's so much for him to steal, and there's so many ways that he can influence the fights if he gets ahead in this game. And I think he could even style on Chessie, right? I think this is a matchup that Rubik could absolutely crush, but it's so risky in the mid game. I
think you're going to get roughed hard here, though. Like, the concern I see, yes, you can see this as a skill matchup, but with the focus on these early stat items and Bracer giving magic resistance especially, Kunkka's going to get less killable. Rubik's going to remain very killable.
I mean, look at what we saw from Thompson, right, in the first series. I mean, this Kunkka tanks up so fast.
But those are our lineups. We're ready to get underway. Vega, everything to fight for here. This has to work out if they want a chance to make it to the Bucharest Minor.
Yeah, I really do. I just want to see Mage go off in this game, because it would be very fun to watch. But I do think on paper TFT have the much stronger draft.
No, I'm just concerned about this Nyx especially. You already highlighted that. As this game goes on, Mage is always going to be vulnerable. So you're always going to just, I think you put yourself in this state. I mean, it's always going that way with Anti-Mage, where you just have to gank constantly. But it's going to be this choice. You're going to need to leave someone to defend the Anti-Mage, right?
And it's not like a support Rubik, where you can smoke up and roam around the map and you get your kills, and if you die in return, it's no big deal. I mean, you have to be able to get the kills and get out against this lineup, and that requires you to just it really just requires you to get some kind of vision advantage in a game where you're playing against a Nyx assassin. Yeesh.
And trying to be as silent as an assassin, the side of Vega will sneak into the jungle under the ruse of all those voice lines. That's what they were doing. They were covering the sound of their heroes moving around. Some of them don't need it because they fly or levitate, but other people have legs. Hansen's lingering down here. He'll be the only one revealing. It looks like Johansson fan is going to start in the safe lane. The scout out is top.
They're going to contest up top with Frost. That's interesting. So we might see TB versus AM head to head.
Brother and brother, if you follow your old law. Eric gets the room.
I like that decision by TF. If that lane ends up materializing, I like that decision by TFT to force the issue, because if both of those heroes sort of get held back in farm, it's very much advantage TFT. Like Terrorblade doesn't need items to farm jungle, and he can still do tower damage even without items. And as a result, you're seeing Madara like, I'm out, guys. I'm out. He's gonna head bottom.
They got a gold reline, whereas all TFT needs XP, and that is the resource that, well, I'd say you could say gold's in more abundancy with the change to denies, but XP, it's not like you're gonna get starved hard anymore. It's not the old deny system. Already, it looks like Chessie getting control of the creep wave, which means Mage is on the low ground. Kunkka should do fine here.
I'm fiending this mid lane hard, because Mage really needs to get off to such a strong start in this game.
I just think the ramp up is the worrying part. He has already got level 2, but that's just the creep wave size right now. Needs to try and starve Chessie out somehow, because if they both reach 6 at the same time, I don't think you can turn around on Chessie quick enough. There's too many things you need to steal. You need the X, you need the boat. You have to choose one. On the top, Frost. Oh my god, he just went down. Hexu. Okay. Look at his health. He was down to 218.
Oh yeah, look at that. He had 16 decay strength stolen there. Yeah, that's okay. That's gonna hurt, even though he lost one of those stacks.
And he was metamorphed as well, so that is not good value out of the first metamorphosis for the TFT side.
Yeah, you needed that as Vega. That's potentially changing early game momentum a lot.
Is he already off to the... No, don't go to the jungle already. All right, we talk about TV jungle level 1.
Yeah, I mean,
shall we?
He's like peace, man.
He's off to the bot lane. It looks like they will try and switch this up after a little bit of aggression. There's a lot of aggression on Madara, actually. Inkswell coming out.
He might get a bait, too, coming in from the side. No, not quite.
And, of course, Spike Carapace, you just saw it doesn't actually work against Inkswell there. I mean,
interested what they're going to do in this lane, too, because Jonas was wrecking.
Doing pretty well. Actually going to switch this up. Jonas to deal with the Bat Rider is a more interesting situation. You have to be careful the sticky napalm stacking, and you are a strength hero against an Undying. But look, they instantly switch. And this is why Frost walked all the way out, because now when he sees that coming, he can just TP away if need be.
Yeah, he can TP away, but he's got to be careful not to get stacked up by the Bat Rider in the meantime.
Problem is that Jonas did TP up here, so he'd have to actually walk. And this, your Sand King already has a lead. Do you really want to throw him under the bus is going to be the question, because he will be if he has to walk.
Absolutely not.
Especially since Jonas is that type of player we've seen time and time again pull through for TFT and do so much work. Definitely is a playmaker type offlaner.
Yeah, that kill on Frost is so unfortunate for TFT, fortunate for Vega, because the passive laning phase, passive laning phase, which it otherwise has been, is very, very favorable to TFT.
Absolutely. Metamorphosis is coming off cooldown of 15, but Kezu, he's probably a little bit too fast to ever catch here is the problem. Especially with the Ink Swell on the Grimstroke. Check back on this mid lane because things are actually even. And this is kind of surprising. You have got the damage reduction that comes out from Mage. Yeah. But you'd expect more denies from Chessie.
Even is bad. I mean, that's the thing. Chessie does not need to take chances in this lane. If he trades evenly with Mage, he's doing his job. And his team is
Hansen's gone. They got 4 stacks of sticky napalm and ran him down with the Inkswell. There was no chance of survival. Meanwhile, Frost is at level 2.
Out of mana, but 2 mangas in reserve.
The desperate state of a Terrorblade. I mean, we usually see them go here level 3 or level 4.
Yeah, when I say Terrorblade can farm jungle without items, I mean it like ideally at like level 5, sometimes a little bit earlier.
Interesting impale out from Hanskin. Doesn't quite land.
Your failure lives on.
And he gets reminded of it by the voice lines out from maybe next time. It reveals he's playing this hero way too much, given he has the voice lines.
Oh, come on, no such thing.
I like that Grimstroke's doing this, though. It's just, he knows it's important to starve out the Terrorblade. We saw this in, I believe it was Secret versus Liquid. They completely shut down Nisha. He eventually came back because they let the boot off the neck. But
I mean, even TP does get the last hit there, but he's still level 2, man. That's a huge win.
And more Bat Rider's level 4. And, well, the top lane, they're both level 4 as well. But the state of Sand King is, I'll just farm here. You can slow down Madara a little bit, but with 1 point already in the counter spell and the Ring of Health, he can sustain it.
Yeah,
meanwhile, mid though, Chessie, a little bit of trouble. Phantom Brace is on him. He's stunned up as well. He can't get rid of it. He's going to take a lot of damage here. He's going to get him low, but nice impale. Turn around from Hanskin. Going to cleave through. They get them.
Chessie on 20 HP.
Balls of steel as he doesn't get 1, but he gets 2. The creeps did do the final taps, but he did the work.
Damn, son.
And look at this. This is the filthy part about this hero. I'm just going to X back the base, pick up my ball, and start sipping away as I go up on HP. Hansen says thank you very much as well. That is worrying, actually. Because now they're at 6. That wasn't even the boat kill. This could easily happen again now.
Yeah, MNT smoked up, uses the scan, still trying to hunt Frost down in that primary jungle, but he's dipped up here.
He knows it's safer up here. He's got reinforcements nearby, whereas the Bat Rider being as far away from the Terrorblade as possible is the best scenario for Frost.
But look at this vision, right? I like that lane ward he just put down. I mean, they're going to know where Frost is when he goes back into that primary jungle, and that's when the rotation's going to come. Meanwhile, MNT looks like might be going for the wrap play, but
it's hard to do. Especially with the change to Phantom's Embrace, because now they've made the latch time, like, wait longer before it gets on you. You have time to throw out, for example, Boat, if things look really grim, or a Torrent.
Yeah. That silence still comes, but you do get the delay.
Error. Out of mana, so he doesn't care about Animage too much anymore. The Hansen fan, starting to build a slight lead here in terms of XP, and actually just a little bit behind in terms of gold.
Yeah, At some point, though, you're shutting down the Terrorblade, I guess. That's a little bit of action here in the top lane.
He's just keeping his mana low, so he takes less damage. The boat coming in, though. Madara went aggressive here. Gets slapped in the face of it. And Madara, he doesn't have the blink away. He only has 1 point in that.
And that is, I was just getting ready to talk about that. That is what you needed. Your TB is suffering so hard. You need to do something to arrest this anti-mage's progression.
That will do it. And actually, you look at the net worth now. Terrorblade behind a little bit, but he's going to catch up in these moments. He needs to.
And as he's now to level 4 and almost to level 5, he's going to be so much faster now doing neutrals. This is when the Terrorblade, often wants to go in the jungle anyway.
And this is where these ward that we saw placed mid might come in handy, because now you're in that Frost. It's a little bit too close. He'll TP for the bot shrine, but this is what I was going to say. Because he does it faster, he's no longer going to be content with these two camps.
Yeah, nice tier 1 tower here by the bat right in the bottom lane. Progress toward his blink. He's gotten a couple hundred gold, and they may not anticipate on the side of TFT him having blink quite this early.
I mean, we don't usually see it, right? When a Batrider gets a good lane start, it's usually something like, for example, you go to Tranks and then the drums. But getting this quickly, you could look for a high impact kill onto the Kunkka, because yes, shutting down the Terrorblade is important right now, but he's going to need a lot of time, and Chessie's the one that is creating it.
And you are seeing more pressure after that kill, putting on in the Modern GM. Anti-Mage, he just hit level 6, so you will have that ultimate available.
He might try and go on an arrow here, but he needs some assistance. They don't have any lockdown up here yet, but Batrider arrives and has the blink. Dust reveal on the Jonas fan. Moving in right now. Burrow strike away, gets stunned up by it though. Now he has no runaway. Out of mana, now life. That's a good blink reveal. That's a good kill to find. They know if they went on the Kunkka, he'd get the bow out first, and it just becomes a mess from there.
It's not the ideal high value target, but I like it. It's shutting down Eunice, keeping him off the map, and you're going to need him to make space with the way this Terrorblade's game is going.
Yeah, he's still playing catch-up.
Radiant scan hits, going to spot out the rotation mid here. Are they going to be ready?
Does Kunkka want to go on this? There's a TP coming in from Yosefan. They want this kill, but Mage, he already knows something is up. He's backing away towards the top. The problem is you can't, I think this is a big worry for Vega as well. Like, these early pushes, it was impressive they got that tier 1 bot. It's not going to happen very often when you're up against a Keeper of the Light, though. They have the lasso again, though. So if they see the Keeper for a moment, they could just dive in for the kill.
Vega just spending a lot of time, right? They feel like they have to be active in this top left part of the map to protect Madara.
Oh, they're moving in. Lasso comes out. They found the Nyx kill. And that damage, I mean, even just one level in Arcane Supremacy, the amplification, just on the burn alone, was huge.
Yeah, that is nasty, man.
That's a level 2 Firefly. It didn't look like... I thought he had it maxed out for a moment there when I saw how quickly Nyx was dying.
I'm telling you, this Rubik hero is just awesome. And the boat coming out here onto the wave, they're going to know that's down.
He stole it. Mage stole it as well.
Oh, okay, all right.
You can't kill Kunkka with it, but there are other targets you can now look for.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, Chessie.
Interesting choices in life being made, but what can you do with it? If you hang around this mid lane, there's always going to be the Kunkka, and he's going to have his own boat again in 30 seconds. You just need to try and make it play, but even with these wards, you're not really seeing Vega dip into the jungle and look for this Terrorblade, who is now up to level 8, by the way.
Up to level 8, and now only 500 net worth behind the AM. That's the bigger thing, right? This big differential that looked like it could persist throughout a lot of the game is all but closed already here at the 11-minute mark.
Thank God.
AM is farming camps in his own jungle, but they're not stacked.
And thank God, Alan, we are in a day and age where you can completely shut down a carry at level 1. And they don't have to worry that their game is over. They can still come back in, Used to be you had to find a kill onto your opponents back in the combat gold meta.
You mean
you just find a few creeps?
Stuff?
Yeah, you had to do stuff. Well, he's doing stuff. He's clicking through the jungle, all right? That takes a lot of finesse.
All right, Hanskin spots out the rotation here.
Sees it all.
Are they trying to contest?
He's just using his bow to push it out. The glyph has been thrown out, so they can keep on pushing. And now that you don't have the bow, TFT can't defend this tier 1. Actually kind of surprised he didn't just try and walk in with the cleave there. That might have been a safer bet. But he was a little bit worried because they knew about the Batrider.
I mean, I'm still okay with this. You're still trading farm relatively evenly as TFT.
It's all about the TB. And when he can finally get involved in these pushes. Because, as you said, he's catching up the anti-mage. AM getting ever closer to that Battle Fury, at which point he will accelerate farm at a rapid pace.
That's fine, but as long as TB is to the point where he's ready to hit towers before that Battle Fury is online, you're perfectly comfortable with that. I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem committing to that engagement as TFT there, but you're about to hit a point in the game where you're pretty strong, and you don't necessarily want to commit hugely to an engagement. But it looks like, oh no, they don't have vision for Hanskin here, and once again, Hanskin knows where all their heroes are. The
dust reveal will achieve nothing here, as only half of them had their smoke broken. And now he knows Hanskin will go in for the kill on the Pex, who's stunned up. The boat is coming in to try and protect. Is it going to be enough? Pex, who's getting low, he's going to live. The stun and return, they get rid of Nick. Now the lasso on the side. Nice Ignis, interrupt everything. Epicenter has been activated. Jonas Van trying to finish off Pexu, but he's so damn tanky with this new ultimate. The Flesh Golem doesn't keep him alive, though, as he goes down. And the Soulbind is fully defensive. They try and retreat. Nice use of the Spike Carapace coming out from Hanskin, and maybe next time you can say that about your escape plan, because you're dead.
Coddle ult shut down to the Batrider was very nice effort there. Could have been arguably even worse.
It's also important that you do that because you went in on this blink so quickly on the Batrider, you're fully invested in the use of the lassos. You're not tanky enough to casually try and run people down.
Mage needs to, he can't die here. He can't give up a death here.
Jonas and Fan, they see him, but they see Mage as well. And he has given up that death despite Carapace. Connects on the Kezu's close enough to the high ground, though.
You can't position like that as a mid player at this point in the game. I mean, you know where their heroes are. That's just, it's a very careless decision, and he's too good a player for that.
And we said they need to start pushing on the side TFT, and they have. And it should also be pointed out that was before they even picked up the Dragon Lance, which was going to be a big power spike if the side of TFT had to fight. As a result, Frost back to the jungle will wait until he can go for another tower, and they'll probably eye up that tier 1 mid.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't want to criticize one player, but you need to understand the game situation a little bit better. This is a time where you need to kind of just be passively giving ground a little bit on your side of the map, trying not to lose too much. Your AM is farming. He's getting to that point where he's going to have the Battle Fury online. You know, you don't want to be the one walking into multiple enemy heroes there as the Rubik.
That's the thing. You kind of have to accept the stage that
now
you're going to start
Moderate is... They're going to wait this out. Is
yes,
he dead?
They are.
The
break as well. The magic damage.
It's going to be... Oh, no.
It's not even close. Not with that break. Lasso coming out. That's brave. Spike Carapace, the double stun there. Soulbind Silence is there. The Jesse doesn't even care though. He's just going to stand his ground. So damn tanky now. The Will-O-Wisp is into effect. And then they get him. Kunka's getting low. He's burned up pretty fast. Going to turn around. Takes maybe next time with him. He knows he's dead, but he's at least going to spit in their face as he dies. They're chasing. Can they find more? Epicenter being channeled by Jonas Van moving in. Burrow Strike doesn't connect, but Kezu, the Impale Stun is going to be there. Illuminate through will get him low. They'll find the kill, but they do give up Nyx, who's dead now for 55 seconds. Zankin getting low from the stolen spell. Trying to move across that shrine. He says, activate it right now. I need to live. He's got the Burrow Strike available. Can they go for the turnaround? Stun is there on the Pexu. Starts dancing his heart off as Frost is on his way, and Pexu knows it's time to abort as the Flesh Golem's running out. He'll get out just in time.
A little bit of overcommitment, and I mean, it's fun. This is exactly how I'm talking about Dota. You can know things intellectually, but in the heat of the moment, I mean, we even talked about, right, the break interaction with Animage, but you get initiated on there as Vadra, and I'm like, man, where's his health going? That's the new Nyx Assassin.
That's where it's going, and should have been a tanky Animage. He's going to feel confident. You can see those 3 points in the counter spell, which makes him feel like a god, even with a small health pool.
And again, you know, he still ends up with enough money for his Battle Fury, but it just feels so bad to die as the Animage on the enemy side of the map right before you get your Battle Fury. And again, I just question the strategic decision making of Vega. This is it's not the time in the game that you're going to go for those moves without better information. Grimstroke's going to give up a death here top.
Hanskin just going to move in, doesn't even need to do anything as Chessie finds the kill.
But you have to understand that you're playing into an Nyx Assassin. They're going to have vision.
I mean, he didn't even need the vision. He was just sitting on the wave.
For that, yeah.
You need to be in at least twos because you know Kunkka has X. Kunkka is one of the best heroes for these single pickoffs in the mid game.
Yeah.
You already see they're starting to move in twos. Mage accompanied by Pex at all times, and actually they've got Kezu. Just kind of making sure Madara is safe to move through here.
Yeah, Chessie's still playing this push top carefully, but they're going to end up with a good amount of passive pressure onto the Dire top tier 2 tower and still be able to rotate back and farm. And Frost's game just feels so easy now after that horrendous start.
Does, and things are getting worse because, you know, Chessie going down that last fight didn't matter because he took out the Anti-Mage. And he realized something. He went, oh, so I only died because of magic damage and slow. So he's going for the BKB next. And we do have a means to pierce that by using the lasso, but then what do you do about the Terrorblade? It feels like a waste.
You used to have a tower right there.
Once upon a time. Off along
They're still playing this very careful on top, though. They don't know where Vega is.
Well, they might realize that the trickle of fire and the trees that are crumbling. But Kezu's very careful not to give that away. So they finally realize that the creeps run by. Looks like Mage has got the blink now, by the way.
The difference between the two teams in the last couple of minutes is just really illustrated by their positioning on these pushes. Vega playing extremely aggressively compared to TFT.
TFT, they've paused that thought, Nick.
Adapter down in the bottom Dire jungle, that's fine.
It's just a support. It spots them all out. He knows they're all there. But what I was going to say is TFT, the way they're set up, like you look at the invasion of the jungle, they know the next few minutes they can go Roche, and they are positioned to do it.
That is true, and you can see exactly the Dire right on cue as you say that, as you bring up that point. The Dire scan into the Roche pit is gonna hit Chessie right as he walks in on the back end, so they will know, and the TP's to the Shrine in response.
But they see that they had a ward that just spotted it, pings on the Kezu. I'll just back away. They will know the scan had to be used or there had to be vision, but with the D wards they placed in place, they'll know the scan is now on cooldown. Nicely read by TFT.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about the importance of that ward to the upper right of the Roche pit as Radiant. So that is your 6th player, literally, at this point in the game when you're trying to make that Roche play.
About as useful as a Treant, who's 5 levels behind. So, you know, yeah, 6th player, I'll agree. They actually get it wrong as well. Heck2 looking for this. He's got one more sentry, one more guess. There's a point.
You're a Treant hater, man.
I know, I'm a big fan of Treant. I've been playing a little bit more since the change. The change is actually hilarious. Right, moving freely across trees. It's a poor man's brood mother. You never thought of it like that, did you?
Paxu, it's all right, dude. It's all right.
Top. Mage, that is not all right. Jonas finding the solo pickoff. And look at the pings. They go Roche right now.
Again, it's just Mage getting caught out. This is happening too much. That's a little bit more understandable. But it's still not great.
Bill, you knew the state you were in. It was pretty obvious to TFT if they could get a pick off, they could go in the Roche pit. As we said, the scan already expended. It was clear as day.
And Hanskin's just sitting up here, right? Waiting for Vendetta to come back off cooldown.
He's feeling ballsy. His team is
He just
close enough
feels
by.
absolute threat right now.
Like, it's unapproachable. You can't really initiate on the Nyx, but at the same time, if you don't as the Batrider, there's always that Spike Carapace concern.
I love Venus. Like, there's a bounty rune here, guys. That's okay.
It's okay. Focus on the
I don't think that Dire team's picking that one up anytime soon, buddy.
Madara's home is the bot lane, as we've seen for quite a while now.
This is the best defense, too, is making TFT commit and sacrifice at least a little bit of tier 3 chip damage if they continue to play on the Dire side of the map.
Although, look at the hunt. Ansken, he's going to punish the greed.
This is bad.
They can actually get the boat coming in. The torrent there as well. The X on him, make sure Madara can't get away. There's the bar strike, locking him in place. They'll draw him back. Madara, is he going to get away? Caustic Finale is going to get him low. Go for the TP, and they can't get him. They guess wrong.
No,
with
the torrent misses by like an inch. Oh, Jesse.
And that was because Hansken, he started off with the stun. He did not start with the Vendetta.
Right. So the break, it's exact, good catch. This is exactly what I was about to point out. The break didn't apply.
I don't think he had I don't think he saw which one was real was the problem. So he didn't want to take a guess or a gamble. As a result,
I still think you can time the torrent there
That's what I was thinking. I thought he was going to go for that, but I think they were worried about how quickly Madara is clearing the camp. And after that, he just moves on out of range.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20.
What ifs? Uh-oh. What if Casey didn't get stunned? They're not going to go on him, but now they know Nyx is here.
They've got 3 in position on the backside.
They're looking on to Chesty.
Chesty needs to be a little bit careful.
He's got BKB, though. He'll activate it and just walk away. He doesn't want to dance with this. They dust. They thought Nyx was nearby, but Hanskin read this perfectly. He's going to look to cut the creep wave. Make sure they can't push for a tier 2. Meanwhile, speaking of tier 2s in the bot lane, Frost will continue with his illusion army.
Yeah, and Mage needs to be careful here.
Is this going to happen again?
Oh.
It might. No, he's going to blink away. He wanted to cast the epicenter and then go.
All right. Mage, you need to be... Okay, this is... I don't know.
This is aggressive Rubik feeling like he needs to find kills, right?
It is. It is. That's to be fair, it's just so easy to press at this point. Because you know what your draft looks like compared to the enemy team. You know it's on you to make a bunch of plays, and the game just hasn't gone that direction so far. I mean, you're barely ahead of your own Batrider in farm. And the smoke play coming out behind Frost here.
And Vendetta activated. They might look towards this anti-mage, but Sentry's already going down. As Madara did show in the mid, they read that actually they might go hunt for him. Maybe next time, however, that's an easier target. Hanskin does get revealed. The pings come out. Well, no, he's not pursuing, though. This high ground is the best defense Vega has right now because it is an enigma wrapped up in a mystery for the side of Farm Tracks.
Nope.
No touchy, though. Yule's coming into effect, and good use for Mage right there. He knows if he goes down first, the floodgates open. All the while, Frost is kind of content to just use this. I mean, you look at the anti-mage. He's starting to build a gold lead, but at the same time, that Skadi pickup for Frost, he doesn't even feel like he needs to BKB this game.
Yeah, and despite AM having all this room on the bottom part of the map, the other 4 heroes of Vega really aren't farming. So TB is willing to concede a little bit of a gold advantage to AM as long as he's the only hero that you have to account for. And to be fair, he's making decent progress, right? He's going to have his Abyssal up at a pretty good time.
Yeah, he can't go for the evasion-based build. He has to be active. I think that does kind of put in a little bit of pressure on him to start fighting. Like, as soon as he's got that basher up, he needs to look for engagements.
I think he's at the point where he has to seriously start thinking about, do I need to also farm a BKB?
Did see that in the last anti-mage game. It wasn't a bad idea per se. But when you look at this type of game and you think about the damage Terrorblade does, physical is probably a bigger concern right now.
Yeah, but you got a lot of disable on Vega that can catch you.
It's true.
When you think about the number of things you have to play around, and there's so much AoE as the anti-mage coming out in the team fight of TFT.
I feel like he just needs health more than anything. The bash is going to give him a little bit, but he's just vulnerable from that perspective, right? We talk about the magic damage. If you get BKB, it's a Terrorblade. And you aren't going to engage into him in a Metamorphosis form.
The other thing in this equation is that with the Shadow Blade coming out from Kunkka, these pickoff plays of TFT are just that much scarier.
Vegas reclaimed. TFT need to think twice about how they approach this. They'll leave the illusions to continue chipping the tower. In fact, they might even get the tower. Frost needs PF, Soulbind coming out. The jump in, the last 2 on the 2. The Yule disrupted. The boat already followed through. Chesty with the BKB active. The torrent play is huge. The epicenter through Chesty's going to go down as well. Mage already dead with the buyback. Triple kill for the sagging. Ultra kill.
Ultra kill for Jonas.
Jonas so on point here. And that will just open the gates to the base for the side of TFT.
He's just destroying.
Anti-Mage did get the constellation prize in the bot though as he pushed there. Buyback's coming out from Vega because they can't allow this to stand. Frost still has the Sunder, so they're going to respect it on both sides. But look,
you get pushed back. That's a huge net win for Vega.
Absolutely. Madara didn't come back to fight, but he did fight with buildings. And their range racks might go down as well.
I am a little bit surprised that TFT didn't commit for that. I mean, it's a beautiful combo by Unison Fun, but at the end of the day, it does nothing. I mean, that bottom racks and potentially the full lane here, it gives Moderate so much more.
Speaking of Madara,
oh my gosh. Well, it's fine. Again, that's the next, but he's gonna get the shrine because of it.
Yeah, he punishes him. That sentry just sitting there. You just watched him casually walk by and then turn around with the abyssal like that.
Now is when this whole creep cutting AM becomes just impossibly annoying, because with that bottom lane already exposed as badly as it is, it's going to be annoying for TFT to push on the dire side of the map. It becomes a lot harder than it was before that exchange.
Yep, you can already see it. TFT just being very defensive here, trying to shove out lanes, because this is Anti-Mage's game now. Madara, well, he tried to deliver last game, but this is a hero that feels a lot more comfortable in the current draft. And now Lasso jump in on the Kunkka. He hasn't used the boat just yet. Soulmine's there. Now trying to go into the torrent that was stolen. Splitting them up. BKB comes through. The boat's finally going to be there. They're down to half HP on a lot of heroes. But they just split and they dodge out the stolen boat coming in. Jesse in full retreat. The Shadow Blade trying to get away. Hanskin on the side. They reveal him. He can't move away. Epicenter from Johansson fan going in now. The Burrow Strike connected on the free. Gets huge. Now the Ignis is going to be there. Animation blinks away. Will make his escape, but Mage won't be so lucky. It's a 3-for-1 as TFT, they turn it around.
Just a little bit too big in the britches there from Vega Squadron. You took a big strategic win, but you are still much weaker in these engagements. And if Madara gets picked off here, oh boy, nice read on the offensive blink there down to the river low ground.
Now Frost moving in. He's still got the Metamorphosis going for about another 20. He knows he can at least get these melee racks, especially since they committed some buybacks last time they were in the base. And Madara is not in a position to split push this time around. No pesky tricks from this anti-mage. TFT likely to back off now that Metamorphosis is down and anti-mage is back in the base though. In fact, they've only got 3 heroes here. They're committing.
Oh no.
They want this without mage up. They're feeling pretty confident. They knew he used buyback last time.
It's a good risk. It's a good risk because they know how annoying those pushes are going to be.
Slowly, boat coming in just to make sure they're protecting Jesse with the BKB. He can TP out if he wants. He'll go for it. The Mana Void could go pop onto him, but Jesse, no, he doesn't get out. There's not King. Sandking can't get out. Even the Abyssal, he's out of mana. Sandking out alive. Jesse forced to fight. Going to get Pexu low. Pexu says, ooh, jewelry on the way out. But they actually have to turn around to deal with the illusions that got the melee racks. It's worthwhile for TFT.
Absolutely, that's what I was just going to say. I think that's absolutely the right read. You get full lane top, you get melee racks mid, and you know that those pushes are going to be so annoying with the AM. I think you have to maximize the impact of that one fight.
And the one big...
The counter hold should be fine here. You're going to concede this tier 2 tower. I'm not even completely sure they can force the buybacks.
They're worried about Nyx. They know he's around. They don't want to risk the turnaround potentially. And the other thing I was going to say, the big buffer they have, you already see Vega go for the pit, and for good reason, because the steal that Mage got his hands on, he's got the bow.
Sure. You know, and Radiant knows what's going on. They throw the scan just to confirm, but I don't think they should try and contest here.
No, they concede the eggs, they concede the cheese, because Terrorblade can still potentially fight against this, even if you give 2 lives to Animage.
And this is great, okay? Both teams are doing what they need to do to give us a chance to win the game from this scenario, right? You know, AM knows he's going to get the Aegis, he's going to buy out for that BKB, and he's going to feel unkillable in this next fight.
Wait, has he got the big... Yeah, he actually completed it.
Yeah, on the courier, it's coming to him.
All right, I was going to say, I wasn't sure, because I was looking at this guy, I was like, what is he committed to? But you just look at his farm, it's really starting to spike up now.
Right, he is going to put a lot of pressure here on TFT, give them a chance to make the mistake.
Also getting ever close to that level 25, at which stage likely to see the Mana Void cooldown again. Hanskin on the move, needs to be careful here. Things come out, the move forward, Burrow Strike connects onto the back right, and now the Abyssal turnaround. They drop the Ignis, but no, both through. He doesn't care. Madara with the BKB fighting up against this. We'll be able to get the kill on the Nyx. And now Frost trying to move across. Madara down to half HP. Lasu's there. The Johansson fan, he can't do anything right now. He's got the Burrow Strike. Will stand up onto the back rider. They're trying to get rid of Animate's force back a little bit. Trying to finish off the Sand King. Needs the final touch. They'll find it. And now they'll find an additional as they get rid of Nyx. The buybacks come out. And that's a dieback from the Nyx Assassin. Frost trying to fight. Madara stands his ground here. Out of mana on the Terrorblade, though. They pop the Aegis. Can they pop him twice? Yule's onto the Kunkka means no torrent when he comes up. The Terrorblade almost out of HP. They're going to move forward. Yule's going to be there. Madara fighting up against Kunkka. Now, there's the Burrow Strike through the epicenter. Anime's getting low on HP, but he's going to find Nyx well. They start up. They'll move away. Kezu just kind him out. Will look to go down here, but Madara does not fall. He might look to re-engage.
Out of mana for the Sunder at the very end. He would have had a chance.
That's the catch of the anti-mage, and now hanging around a little bit too long. Grimstone might go down Minara, moving across. He wants to engage here. No missile, but if he gets the bash. X, they're connected. They can maybe go for this. The Torrent's going to be there. Johnson Fan does have the Burrow Strike.
Oh no, this is catastrophic.
What are you doing?
Wow, he has just very fortunate with the tower bounties and some of the kills happening there. He is just 20 gold surplus on his buyback, so he can stop the pushes that comes. If he had died without buyback there, oh
and
goodness.
The good news is, of course, they got rid of that Terrorblade, because if he wasn't dead right now, this would look catastrophic for Vega. The consolation prize is the bot lane, where the ranged racks did get finished off by the creeps. But that is a small consolation prize, considering you had the Aegis, you had the cheese.
Yeah, and I think they had that fight set up decently well. Frost spent a lot of that time. He was meted up on the right side of that fight. And, I mean, he bursted down the Undying immediately, but then he spent a lot of time just trying to walk to the left side to get in range of the Madara Anti-Mage. But Chessie had a lot of mobility throughout the fight. The stun combo coming out for the Sand King. Coddle makes you focus onto that Will-O-Wisp so that even if it dies, you get a little bit of time from that.
And Cole will be much more scary at this rate. He's queued up the refresher, and he's not far away from it.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll get rid of these shrines, these pesky shrines, to make sure that Vega, they start to feel the walls closing in.
And this is a nominal, at least 5-position Coddle. He has not had the kind of farm priority that you often see given to these keepers throughout most of this game. Still making pretty good progress.
Absolutely. You already see from the charts. Look at that swing around off the back of that last fight. TFT looked like they were going to lose their lead, and they take it straight back almost instantly from the side of Vega. Items next. What do you look at right now? Because Chessie's continuing on this big crit build. I wouldn't mind seeing a halberd at some point just to deal with Madara, because right now, that's the only right clicker.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job, it's got to be said, playing around the counterspell active from this AM. They have enough disable that they've been stunning him up, especially on the pickoffs, but also to some extent in the fights, just stunning him up and waiting. So I was gonna say you get that halberd, you got to worry about the active, but they're dealing with that fairly successfully, and so I think I agree with that comment.
And when you look at the scenario as well, the BKB being chosen by Anti-Mage, it's the right choice, but because he's committed to it first, he's already used one big charge. I mean, we don't usually talk about it too much these days, but it is a big deal when you get those BKB charges down to like the 6-second mark. All
right, so smoke out coming from their own base by Vega, and it's just it's a play that you feel you have to make, but it is a very low percentage play. It's much easier to read, and it's much easier for the enemy team to just play on the other side of the map.
And they had to do it from the base as well, because after that last fight, you don't know where TFT have vision because they got out on the map. That's the red, but they have to go deal with it. Like, it's obvious because of bot. Like, the Terrorblade Illusions just almost took a tier 2 for nothing.
I mean, you know, and this is what you're going to see so much of the time is the counter smoke coming delayed and has the potential to catch Vega as they're coming in formation out of this pickoff attempt.
I mean, more than just that, like, it's what they're doing. I was going to say, it's what they're doing when they come out, right? Because that's when you're like, okay, we need to split up a little bit because we just lost a lot of time on gaining gold. You already see Madara moving top.
Here for Vega, they're just trying to make it back to their base.
TFT suddenly have the upper hand. They're going to choke them off here. And there's no rush. Roche is potentially up in 2.5 minutes. The Foul Tribe are in a comfortable position right now.
Oh, that's understating the case. I mean, I know, guys, it's only a 6K, 5K now net worth advantage for the side of Final Tribe, but it's just looking more and more like it's going to be Anti-Mage versus the world for the rest of this match.
That's the thing I was going to say. You look at the net worth distribution. I mean, you're getting a lot on this Grimstroke. I'll give you that. This is the other issue, right? This hero feels a bit weird when he gets a big bulk of gold. He's got a GPM talent. And this is why it's okay he has it. Is there's not this big, giant pickup that makes all the difference. It's not like there's an Ags, for example, that most supports would have.
Yeah, and you look at both Batrider and Mage, as Rubik, are trying to make progress toward that BKB. They understand the impact of this potential double Coddle ult coming out in these fights.
And the problem is that cold double ult is already going to be there before you have your BKBs as he bought out on this.
Exactly. I think that's the right play. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of gold just from structures. You saw what happened to the Animages. He was able to make it back in the course of a couple of engagements.
So freaking Lutely and Jesse just trying to keep buyback as he heads towards that Daedalus. You can't understate the damage that's going to do when you consider how squishy a lot of these heroes remain on the side of Vega.
Exactly, and that's true of the cores. That's the result of the cores being underfarmed. I mean, Rubik and Batrider both sitting around 2k HP with 10 or 11 armor after all is told.
Even the Anti-Mage,
that's not going to stand up.
Like, you look at the Anti-Mage as well. His build is full damage. It's not something like a a Skadi or a Heart or something just to bulk him up.
I think it has to be. I mean, they need to get a good jump, initiate the team fight on their own terms, and hope for some really flashy play by Mage. That's what we said about their draft from the beginning, so that Madara can do his thing.
I actually like this Kyre and Sanj on Yonason fan.
Oh,
never run out of mana, quick across the map, and like especially when you consider the break on the Anti-Mage, not bad idea to amp up the damage.
No, it's just really nice utility. You're going to see this item. We already have seen it a lot, and you're going to see it more and more as a sort of earlier part of the late game item on these tanky offlane carry. Tanky offlane strength heroes.
Interesting to see if they actually get a Vlad soon, because that's something I've noticed they still don't have. And with Terrorblade on your lineup, could be pretty damn handy here. It's not, you can't really say he's going to get a Sunder in these fights, not against an Anti-Mage.
Yeah, still though, I agree, and I like the Vlad's builds that we're seeing from a ton of offlaners, but the Lotus Pipe build here by the Yuna Sand King, I think, has done a lot of work for them in this game.
And he will be going for Linken's next, because he understands that while he might not get Vlad's and the life's still over to the Terrorblade, he can protect him with the Linken's. X on a Pex, he'll drop the Tombstone. Actually come in here, the bow's going in. Now FZ channeled up, moving through, the Burrow Strike does connect on the Mage, can get down to half HP, gets him super low, in fact, he also protect himself. Try and turn around. Now the lasso drags Terrorblade across. But Madara, he can't stay close enough. He just wants to get rid of Terrorblade. Now he's on the low ground. Madara can take over here. Hanskin's going to go down. Chess going to be chased onto. Can they get the back? Yes, they can. First hit. Chakra will give full mana to Chess if he needs to back away. On the back foot, they're still looking to just dance around Frost here. The buyback's coming out on both sides. There's a Sunder. Eris says, take my health and fight on. Chessy going to get low, but he's alive with the armor that toggles. Madara doesn't find the pickoff. Going to go in to try and finish this. The bash is there. He will be able to get it. Will he head for more is the question. On the side, you will finally see Grimstroke go down in this retracted fight. It's evening up a little bit here. Sand King getting low. They will bash him once more. Madara, this RNG. Now they're going to go in. Ignis is down. Pexu locked in place. Can they get him? Yes, they can. And Animate, he's out of mana. No! He has no way out of this.
Oh,
Madara,
my goodness.
the missed chance is working in his favor, but not for long. Inkswell, Yules to try and protect. Won't matter though. He's got the mana now, but there's the mana burn again. They get him, they bring him down. That is the most important kill you can find here. And Roche is up.
I mean, Mage was down to like 20% HP so early. It was a very nice play by Eunice to get the epicenter. Almost ended up being only on him, but that's absolutely fine. You take what's in theory supposed to be the 2 position just out of that fight for Vega. There was really nothing he could do while the rest of the cores are just duking it out.
And more importantly, like you mentioned, that epicenter. That epicenter almost didn't connect. You saw how close the power strike was to missing. That was clutch.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with the Ignises coming in, not that timely in that fight. The second one was a little bit late there, but didn't matter. TFT just have more heroes farmed in this game. That's what it comes down to sometimes in these fights.
And that fight dragged out so long, by the way. The epicenter is back off cooldown. So Vega can't even try and commit into the pit with that buyback on the Anti-Mage. They just had to use it to make sure that TFT aren't the ones going in. Actually, no, Madara's going in right now. They can't let it stand, though. They have to intercept. But they don't. They have got the Metamorphosis.
They're just not in position. Chessie is way, way down here, and he's just blink.
Moving across now.
Still pretty slow. They have to play this conservatively. Madara only one in the pit.
Epicenter being channeled up. No, he gets disrupted, getting in too late. Now the stuns are going to be there, though, on an Animate. The boat as well. Can they do enough damage here? They're going to give him down to half HP, but now he's going to turn around Abyssal and the Terrorblade. He's not doing enough damage, though. TV can stand his ground. Kezu trying to cause anarchy here. Madara's own BKB going to keep him alive. Jesse, he snatches the Aegis boat. He picks up the Refresher Shard and the cheese. He gets it all. Buyback's coming out. They want to fight and protect Jesse here. They'll get rid of the Undying first. And Ignis zones out the rest of Vega. They do not get the advantage they're looking for. They at least force the buyback on the TB. But immediately back to base. That wasn't what they were hoping for. Vega, they will survive, but they are now back to their base again because they needed that Aegis badly for the Anti-Mage who brought back.
It may not be what you were looking for, but it's not a total disaster. You're going to have one difficult hold ahead of you.
Very difficult.
Oh, they're going to force the action.
This is a DD. Wise. It's a DD on the Terrorblade.
Come on, Ice Frog.
Metamorphosis, everything ready to go. They'll move in right now, and straight away going to the back right of the boat, coming in, timed with the stun, trying to move away. Scotty slows him down, though. Animate, he needs to do something soon, because he's already lost both Nage and Kezu, who have to buy back. And look at the backstab. He needs to pick off right now. He's going to go in. Can he do anything here? There's the Abyssal coming in effect. But look, protect with the Chakra. Can they actually lock him down? Yes. Terrorblade is buyback. And Sand King's next on the hit list. They have no buybacks on both of them. Jesse, no. The bash. He doesn't get out. And they will find him slowly but surely on the side. Hans can find as well. The buyback out from Kunka just to shove out bot. Because they have to just lock all the doors. Because now Vega can push towards your base. And they'll even find error on the side.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Vega not entirely unhappy with the fight simply because you burn the buybacks on the side of TFT. Now you can get some things done on the map, knowing that the Terrorblade, Sand King, and Nyx Assassin are off map for 90 seconds.
And this really does come down to Madara taking that magic resistance. You see them every time. They do no damage to him whatsoever.
You know, it's a very big deal that they still have this tier 2 top. It's gonna force Vega if they want to end the game here, they've got to commit right first. And you're seeing that from Moderate.
Madara goes in. Abyssal's gonna be there. But Shadowblade just in time from Jesse as he fades. They're gonna go for the tier 4s. They know it's the best opportunity.
They end it.
And they can actually end this pretty easily.
This game might be over.
No buybacks on either side. BKB, Sorbine, Lasso connects on the 2, drags them out. And that looks like that's going to be it.
Beautiful.
Vega, they strike back, and their chances are looking good here because they should be able to take this to a game 3. No glyph available.
Unbelievable by Vega. What a game. The DD rune just made TFT a little bit overconfident. And Frost getting a bit too far forward on that dire bottom lane step, sensing the mega creeps. Vega have enough to turn it around. And that's late game Dota, guys. Yes, in this patch, 45 minutes is now late game.
Gasping, question marks, exclamation marks, everything. Because you look at that game, and I think you're right. They felt emboldened by that DD. And that Refresher Shard, it wasn't this big impact for a Terrorblade we usually see. This isn't a double BKB, double Sun to Terrorblade. This is no BKB at all, just Manta and Metamorphosis that it just didn't have the impact.
To be fair, I do think this term is grossly overused, but that is a bit of a throw on the side of TFT. And I think that they would, I am 100% confident that they would watch that replay and they would say the same thing. They had the time. They still, the Roche fight, they technically won, even using the buybacks. They still had plenty of time to play a bit methodically, maintain map control, and I don't think anybody but AM is going to be able to threaten them in this game. But by forcing that push onto the high ground with knowing that multiple buybacks are down, you give Vega Squadron a win condition, and even if you are very confident in that individual fight, you're putting your game life on the line if something goes wrong. And guess what? Nowhere does Murphy's Law more apply than in a game of Dota.
Or apply to these win probabilities more sharply. The chances for TFT to win that game were so high, but the anti-mage, especially Madara, just everything in his face, and it just tickled. But that does mean we get to go to a game 3 here.
I'll take it. I'll take it. These first 2 games have been a lot of fun.
So, guys, short break. Both teams are going to want a deep breath after that one. TFT asking where it all went wrong. And Vega just over the moon that they have a chance to continue on through here. Game 3 in just a few minutes, guys. You don't want to miss it. So, wait around.